Called Quiet Zone. So our viewer Ross wants to know, is there anything that can be done about the train noise in Roundtree? There's a certain rhythm to life near the tracks. You can almost imagine a jazz drummer keeping the beat. Roundtree is one of those peaceful neighborhoods, except when the train comes and blasts that horn.
Sounds like the train's coming through my bedroom.
Ross likes the overall ambiance, but the high notes from the train he could do without.
It comes through a lot from, early in the morning till, into the afternoon. It is loud, ear-splittingly loud, to the point that even with the windows closed, I have to cover my ears.
Springfield does have quiet zones where trains don't blow their horns. There's one on Catalpa Street. The city tells us Roundtree considered a quiet zone in 2012, but the city heard mostly negative feedback. Part of the reason? It's not as simple as shutting down the horns. Things in the neighborhood would change.
Some of the intersections would have to be closed. Some of them have to have geometric changes. Sometimes there's four-way gates and islands. 13 years later, we could assume that those regulations would be similar to have a starting point, but we would have to start the quiet zone process over again.
And all those years later, not everyone wants to pull out the horns from the rhythm of the neighborhood.
I'm a train fan myself, so it doesn't really bother me, but I understand most don't.
Ross would need to get enough people in the neighborhood on board to launch a new look at a quiet zone. For now, he's got earplugs and a short-term plan to lessen the pain.
And I'm actually going to switch around and make my office into my bedroom and vice versa.
Well, the city tells me initial evaluation and design would likely cost $200,000 or more. This does not include the cost of city staff time. Now, on top of that, the total project cost for improvements at all required crossings would range from $1.5 million to $2 million, and there is no current funding source for a quiet zone in that area. So coming back here to Ross's question, is there anything that can be done about the train noise in Roundtree? This is a yes, but it is a process that would need to start with the neighborhood association or the city, and then there's the whole issue of funding on top of that. If you have a question for Fact Finders, you can send it to us on ky3.com.